You. I know you. You click on this video because you like watching a psychopathic stalker stalk and murder people. You're also probably on your 4th hour of YouTube watch time and procrastinating your homework. But that's okay because I also do that, and I'm doing that right now. Yesterday I watched all of season 4 part 1 of You instead of doing my homework that I should have been. So I thought as we branch out on our content here that I talk about You season 4 part 1. Now I do like seasons 1, 2, and 3 of You, but I'm going to admit they're not insanely good. Each season is a different take on the Joe is a murderer. He kills for people he loves. Oh no, his wife just killed somebody. Now he has to kill his wife. And Joe is a murderer. Joe is surrounded by murder. And the whole series is pretty much just murder. This season kind of takes that idea and flips it 180. Now instead of Joe being the stalker, he's the one getting stalked. And yeah, I'm going to call him Joe because Jonathan just sounds weird. And he's not Jonathan, he's Joe. Joe from the beginning of the series is a maniac, but he moves to London to change and to better himself and to change his past and to stop killing people. He does follow Mariana to London, and then when she tells him to pretty much fuck off, that's when he's like, okay, I gotta prove to her that I'm not a murderer, you know, because he loves her and stuff like that. And Joe is all about love, apparently, supposedly. But after he tells her to fuck off, we don't hear about her pretty much ever again. Even though she's in one of the posters for it, you don't ever see her besides the couple first interactions with her. Anyway, Joe is now a professor, which they really only mentioned for like 2 episodes. And then he saves his neighbor, which happens to be one of his quote unquote friends, Malcolm, who also is a professor. And because of that, Malcolm invites him into their rich group of snotty little shithead friends. I don't want to summarize the story because I'm assuming you guys have already watched it. Instead, I want to talk about my actual thoughts on the series. So I do like how Joe's role in the story is flipped from what he and we are used to. Instead of Joe murdering, he doesn't want to murder anybody. I think the eat the rich killer trope is pretty heavily talked about nowadays. And I think Parasite does it a whole lot better. But I mean, Parasite is one of the best movies of all time. So, obviously. The whole Reese character, I don't think he was developed enough. So when his reveal came out, it's kind of like, oh. At least to me. And I don't think his motive is very much there. Like, he is rich, but he started out poor. So now he hates rich people, I guess. I don't know. And he's running for mayor now, I guess. Even though he's killed a bunch of people, I think. I mean, Reese doesn't really know what the hell he's doing. So I'll keep talking about things that I do like. I do like all the landscapes and the world building. I know it's just London, but there are some real beautiful shots in this show. Like the architecture in London is amazing. And the Hampshire Retreat House is completely gorgeous and a beautifully architectural structured house. I also like the outfits in this show. I personally think Joe looks real fine in his outfits. And then I like how the show shows us that Joe is trying to change by Joe trying his hardest to resist Kate, even though they do end up sleeping together. He isn't really obsessed with her, and his motive for kind of stalking her is actually a motive that we can all agree on. Here's what I don't like. I don't like Reese as the villain, like I said. We don't really see him that often. Like, how did he do all those fucking things in the background? How did he figure out who Jonathan really is? And then after the manor burns down, why did he just not pin it all on Joe? I mean, everyone is already suspecting him, and Joe doesn't want the police around. So that'd be an easy way to just clear that whole eat the rich killer. And then we have the nomination for the most annoying dude in TV. That's Roald. Roald is so fucking annoying. He's so goofy and he's also creepy as fuck with all those pictures. Like anytime I saw him, it just made me mad. And I hated when he was walking around with that gun chasing around Joe. He just looked like a goober. Now, I don't want to nitpick here, but how did Joe not have to go back to work? Like, he's a professor, so I don't know how he just got all this time off after us barely seeing him being a professor. But here is the biggest problem with you, and that is how long the show has been dragged out. We already know that Joe hates the rich, so seeing him interact with the rich is cool, but like we've already seen a lot of that. Like, that's what the whole first 3 other seasons are about. So it gets a bit stale in that sense, as he's just dealing with these snotty, ratty little people. The show is being dragged out a little bit too much, and I hope that this is its final season, because this is a good TV show, and if there's a season 5, I have no idea where they can take it, to be honest with you. Ending a TV show is always the hardest part, and in our content-driven world today, keeping shows going racks in lots and lots of money. We're seeing it a lot with Stranger Things right now. They have racked in bank after bank after bank after bank, and they're going to keep releasing seasons, even though I know it's the last one. And it doesn't matter what the season is about. It's because they already have these core characters that people like. But Joe's flashiness and charm to him is starting to run out. And I think after this season, it has to be done. So yeah, it's time to end You. And I don't say that in a negative way, because I do like this show and it's still enjoyable. But let's end it. So overall, I like the vibe and aesthetic of the season so far. I like the sophisticated and rich feel to it. You can really feel how rich they are just by looking at it. I do like the change in Joe and the change in the environment. Joe's investigation for a good cause and a justifiable cause is a breath of fresh air. There's nothing really inherently wrong with the series besides the fact that it's going on a bit too long, but a lot of shows do suffer from that, so I can't dock it too much. I would say this first half of season 4 would get an 8 out of 10. And I am excited to see where Joe is going to go now, because it feels like it's kind of switching back to normal, where Joe is now going to be the stalker. So that's going to be very interesting to see how Joe handles Reese and how he takes care of him. And I think for the first time, we actually get a good motive to root for Joe. Anyway, yeah, this show can be a little bit corny sometimes, but I do enjoy it, and I think you guys probably do as well after watching this video. Thanks for watching. It's a little bit of a content change, and I'm going to keep doing videos like this because I enjoy it a lot. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Peace.